Stupid monkey. Hey there, Adrenalheads. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Mark.
And on today's show, no more monkey business. Let's get back to the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Today we are covering Rise of the Planet of the Apes from 2011.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this one.
Same here. Honestly, we've done a tally. We've done all the original Ape series, and I kind of said cumulatively over all the series that we've gotten so far. I haven't watched the last one that had come out it was a couple of years ago. I haven't watched it yet. I still should. It's on my list to do. But this one has always stuck with me as one of the ones that I really, really like, especially with them trying to reinvent the wheel, as it were, when it comes to apes. And this one stuck out in a sense of like somebody really thought it out and did it very well. So that's my overall thoughts about this one. Your thoughts?
I really liked it because I remember when it came out in 2011. It's like 15 years ago already at this time of this recording.
Exactly.
I was like, holy smokes. But let's give us a synopsis, Mark.
Sure. The origin story of Caesar, a chimpanzee who gains superhuman intelligence from an experimental Alzheimer's drug, leading him to spark a primate revolution against humanity after experiencing human cruelty in captivity. Scientist Will Rodman raises the gifted Caesar, but after Caesar defends his father, actually, not Will Rodman.
Not Caesar's father.
It's Will Rodman's father, and is imprisoned in a harsh ape sanctuary. He shares the drug with other apes, unites them, and leads them to freedom, setting humanity on a path to conflict with its evolved simian counterparts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just be nice to the apes.
Yeah. This movie, the way they presented it, parallels a lot of what we've already talked about in other apes movies that we know of people in captivity, enslavement, things of that nature, or being locked up and then revolting and then, bringing forth an army, as it were.
Yes, exactly.
So, and plus the way they were able to go about it and how the apes came to this intelligence based on the original series that we got was very inventive, I thought, because it goes to, basically animal experimentation with drugs, which is always a consistent thing. But in this case, it backfires on man.
like almost everything. But
exactly.
Not almost everything, but it's just in movie terms, almost everything.
Yeah. Well, it shows man's fallibility and how nature overcomes his stupidity.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the people we people we may know in the film. That's first time talking. First time out with my new tongue. So
that's okay.
Okay. So people we may know in the film.
First and straight off, you have listed here Andy Serkis, who plays Caesar. And you state here, come on, if you don't know this guy. Really, everybody knows Andy Serkis of who he is. Other than Planet of the Apes films, War Dawn, he also portrayed Gollum, Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's where he got his first start with like mocap and everything else. He played Alfred in the Batman, which we did cover on Panels to Pixels podcast, Rob and I, and the King Kong remake by
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson. There you go. The name eluded me for half a moment.
Yeah, going back on this one, I hadn't watched the Batman until like about a year after it came out, and I was kicking myself because it was so dang good.
Yeah, and we're getting a sequel soon, so that's a cool thing too. I'm really looking forward to that.
I did like the Kong movie, except for some of the things weren't like just it needed some work. But
wow, it's so funny.
Little bit doughy, but yeah, it's all good.
Well, the funniest is that's held in high regard for its cinematic feats and what they did, what Peter Jackson had done, and they use it in film schools and in colleges as a reference to how to properly do certain scenes, setups, and story and plot. As well as with CG and everything else. So it's something that's being heralded as good. Some people find it's false. I do agree. There's certain things that I did not like because the dinosaurs and everything else didn't look accurate.
Yeah, exactly. But again, this is just like the Skull Island dinosaurs. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, but the one thing about King Kong I did like, just as a quick aside, was I don't know if you noticed in the hold of the ship they had the Sumatran rat monkey cage.
Yes,
which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, it was thrown in there purposely by Jackson. I know that
exactly.
It's one of those hidden unknown facts that they talk about, but every film student or film aficionado goes, "Oh my God, there it is."
Yes, exactly. All right. Next, we have James Franco, who plays Will Rodman. Now, on these, like a lot of these actors have so many dang credits. I just did hit the highlights of what I knew.
That's fine.
And what I was familiar with.
Yeah.
So James Franco was in 127 Hours. I'd give my right arm for that film. Oh, sorry. Your favorite and mine, The Disaster Artist.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. The Interview, which was okay. Yeah. Homefront, that's another Jason Statham vehicle. Spring Breakers, Date Night, Pineapple Express, Milk, Fly Boys, and where I first saw James was in the Spider-Man series back in the early 2000s.
Yes, before he was in a small short show at one point. Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, a man that I've enjoyed since I was a kid, ever since I saw The Manhattan Project, and I love that film. Mr. John Lithgow, who plays Charles Rodman, who plays basically James Franco, his father in the film. We remember he's in the Harry Potter series as Dumbledore.
Yeah, the new series coming out. Yeah, the new one.
Yep. One of our favorite Dexter villains.
My favorite Dexter villain.
Yeah, my favorite too. You gotta love him. Cliffhanger, the movie Cliffhanger. He plays a villain in that one too.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Excellent. He was in the movie Terms of Endearment, Miss Sloane. Another movie that I truly love, Interstellar, Shrek, The Pelican Brief, Raising Cain, and you're putting in here not his best.
Not his best, but still, it was funny because he played like a dual role.
That he did. Ricochet. So and then Footloose, where he plays a minister or priest,
a pastor.
Yeah, that just didn't like music or dancing. The Day After, which
the 80s, in the 1980s miniseries.
Yep. The Twilight Zone movie, which was entitled what? The short segment.
The segment for that one was Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. That was the redo of the William Shatner show. Correct. That he was in, which was so dang good.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I saw that when I was a kid. I think I was maybe 11. I think it was 11 when it came out, because it came out in 82, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I don't, now I would be laughing at it, but at the time I was terrified.
I was scared about at the very end when, what was it, Dan Aykroyd in the end scene? It's like, you really want to see something really scary? That really blew me, gave me creeps when I was a kid.
The book ending of that was great.
Unfortunately, with that particular movie, we lost Vic Morrow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so many bad things came out of that.
No, yeah, but it's still... a lot of people still remember the movie and what it represents. Twilight Zone, the movie from '82, is really, really good. You got to check it out. Plus, if you haven't ever seen a Twilight Zone, if you haven't, you're probably very young. But they used to do marathons on New Year's, but highly recommend it. But Lithgow was like really good at that particular character. Gave everything that Shatner did, but even more.
Yeah. Next, we have Frida Pinto, who plays Caroline. Now, I haven't seen her in much, but this is, I think, I watch not an extraordinary amount of movies. I watch some, but maybe just the movies I've watched haven't had her other than this one.
Yeah.
So in this one, she's also been in Slumdog Millionaire, Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, Hillbilly Elegy, and Asteroid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked her in this movie, but it's just like, I just haven't seen her in a whole bunch.
All right. Well, next up will be Brian Cox, who plays John Landon, the ape or chimp prison holder in the film. We've known him from the TV show Succession. He was in the movie Red Eye, which I remember. The Ring, we all know that movie, based off of the Ringu series. He played the dad to Samara, I think.
Yeah.
And Kiss the Girls, which was another one that was very eerie. Yeah. Braveheart, legendary film, everybody.
Yeah, he didn't have too big a role in that, but it was impactful.
Yeah, and he made a cameo, obviously. Rob Roy, another one. And Troy, which I didn't really get completely through over the years.
Yeah.
And if you love comedies, he was in Super Troopers.
Oh, I've never watched Super Troopers.
It's funny. He plays the chief in the local area where the guys go, and he's just a blowhard old man. It comes in and doesn't like people's jokes.
Yeah, and looking and like putting this together, I try not to do too much unless, because we have 3 more to cover here.
Yeah.
I just cover highlights, but he's been acting since the mid 60s.
Yeah.
That's crazy how much he's been in.
Yeah, he's been around a long, long time, built up a whole list of credits. So he's one of those legendary actors that no matter what movie you see him in, you're like, I know that guy.
Yeah. Okay, next we have, excuse me if I butcher this name, we have David Oyelowo, who plays Stephen Jacobs. He's been in Silo. I've seen a couple episodes of that. The Midnight Sky, which was pretty good. That was that came out a few years ago. We have Star Wars Rebels, The Cloverfield Paradox, A Wrinkle in Time, Selma, which was pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
The Butler, which is really good. Now, a bit part in Interstellar, he played the principal at the school.
Yes.
Jack Reacher was, and we're not talking the
Alan Richardson version.
Not the Alan Richardson version. We're talking the Tom Cruise,
movie,
pint-sized Jack Reacher movie.
My size, because he's my height.
That's exactly. Red Tails and The Help. So.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody you've seen in films. So yeah, obviously, this cast has a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah, and I really, when I see him, when I see his name in the credits, and I was like, yes, I know he's done. I haven't seen him do a bad thing.
No, same here.
Okay.
Next up, Tom Felton, who plays Dodge Langdon, the son of Mr. Brian Cox as John Langdon.
Typo, Landon. Whoopsies.
Landon? Okay, Landon. Yeah, you're right, Landon. I put Langdon. I read things as I see them. I'm phonetic. It's okay. Yeah, so we all know Mr. Tom Felton from the original Harry Potter series, all 7 films as Malfoy or Malfoy or however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
He's the kid that we never liked that had the stupid bleach blonde hair. He was in a Megan Levy get him to the Greek, which I did enjoy. I think he played himself in that particular film too, which is so funny. The Disappeared, Anna and the King, and the Flash TV series that was on the CW. Everybody.
Yep. And finally, we have Tyler Labine, who plays Robert Franklin. I've seen him in Escape Room. He is the that was a pretty good film. He's been in New Amsterdam, which is a medical TV show. He's like the counselor person. He's been on that for years.
Yeah.
And Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, he doesn't have a huge role in this film, but I thought his name is worth mentioning.
Well, so. I thought his character was very unique to it because that's how the virus spreads and everything. Obviously, if you have not watched the film, everybody, that we're covering today, it is spoilerful, but come on, it's been 15 years since the movie came out. But Tyler Bean is really a credit to all the Canadian actors that we do get here in the States, and I do enjoy him. Very great comedic actor. He was in Zach and Mary Make a Porn. He does make a cameo as a drunk guy who comes in the middle of the night at the coffee shop. It was pretty cool. You would also remember him also in Super Troopers 2 and a whole bunch of other movies too that are out there. His comedic style is really, really cool. And I do, if you go to Amazon Prime or Netflix and put his name in there, you'll find a movie that you'll enjoy. Trust me, whether it be dramatic, sci-fi or whatnot, he's in it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to general thoughts of the movie. Go ahead, Mark.
Like I said before, I've always enjoyed this film. I put this in the higher rankings of the films, including the original version of Planet of the Apes that we did with Charlton Heston. This is one in the top 5 that I have of films that I did feel like, wow, we're in this. And it gave us a full story and it was written well. And you could pull any social commentary based upon within the film itself. You could see racism, you could see everything down to how it parallels our current world as it is, and how slavery and how abduction and things of that nature are accountable. Like I said, something where things arise where people retaliate, and in this case, the apes. Man's folly and his own, trying to advance too fast. And we see that a lot with Tesla bots going crazy, doing chopping lettuce and, attacking people. Things like that. Yeah. There's certain parallels to what's going on, and it mirrors what's going on within our world. But it to me, it's really, really cool. There's a lot of Easter eggs, and I'm sure, Jerry, you're going to talk about this in your commentary too.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like I do like, kind of a restart of the franchise in this case. And it's got the and unique in following both these in following both Will and Caesar, because we get, like, for the first part of the movie, Will is a lot of the decision makers. Will is doing a lot of the decision making for the film.
Yes.
And in the latter half, after Caesar does his final revolt, and he's making the decisions.
Yes.
And I do like that it has those two, like, kind of paths meshed together with a little bit of overlap in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus we get the realism of how the apes look in this in comparison. It's the first one that was completely CG. You did have mocap, which is great because you could show the emotions of all the people who played the apes too. Even the person who played Maurice, Koba. Honestly, Koba always freaked me out every time I watch this because it reminds me of Stripe from Gremlins.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
So
yeah, but this one, I like to say, it has a, like you had said, just highlighting that, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of nods to the original series.
Yeah,
music is top tier.
Yes,
I love the music in this.
Yeah, the music and the orchestration, when it was really, really good, plays well with it. A lot of great scenes and how they're set up within the action scenes. There are so many moments in the film that you could remember if you haven't watched the movie in years. you'll remember certain scenes, like how Caesar interacts in the house with John Lithgow, and how Charles is loving and caring for him, gives him his name. And then on top of that, how Caesar is able to go out and goes to the redwoods, and this lovely scenic moment where he climbs the tree for the first time. When he breaks the apes out, or when he gets the gorilla out of the cage and then finds his point, things of that nature. And then obviously at the very end, that trailer scene that we always get, that we always remember on the streets when they're all coming together collectively as apes, and they're just causing chaos and with the cars and everything.
Yeah. And this one, I like to, I wrote here just as an aside, it's like, the world is falling apart and Will's actions led to this happening.
Yes. Yeah. There's a great quote by Caroline, and I'll bring it up later during quotes. Okay. But yeah, it's, and a lot of the burden is bared on him, on how, because he brought up Caesar at this point, and there's that whole feeling of being, you have a love and then you get neglected. But at the very end, we do get that love back from Caesar himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of turmoil, and a lot of it is hatred. And obviously, like I said, it reflects a lot of, like, as a commentary within the film itself. If you haven't spotted all that, go back, watch it again. It's out there. You could easily find it on Netflix or Prime or whatever. It's always played.
I believe it's on. Yeah, I believe at this point it is on Hulu.
There you go. It's always out streaming somewhere.
Yeah, and if not, you can rent it for like $5.
Yeah, or purchase it. Who knows for
$6?
Oh, there you go.
Something like that,
Yeah.
But I remember, I forget what movie it was, and it's like, rent $4, buy $6, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy it.
Yeah, well, that's what I usually do. I look through iTunes for my Apple TV, and I'm like, it's like, oh man, I don't want to get up, or I probably have it stored somewhere, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look, and I'll look, and I'm like, really? I'll just buy it. It's not even worth.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's an extra $1. Why even bother?
Yeah. And it's always nice to have in your pocket on your phone. It's like, if you ever want to watch something. So
yeah, exactly. Now everything is like streaming content anyway, and then you can watch from your phone, or if you're on the go, things of that nature.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our favorite scenes in the movie.
Well, I think we kind of talked about some of them a little bit, but definitely for me, one of my favorites is Caesar being brought back to the house, and Charles's interaction and openness to how Caesar is, and how Will is bringing up Caesar throughout those particular scenes, how he's growing. Unfortunately, with the neighbor, hitting or attacking Caesar at that point, that one was poignant for the fact that that's how Will's able to find Caroline and have a relationship. And then it boosts, and it goes from his age of 3, and it goes 5 years later almost. And they were able to live there for so long until a certain point where, Charles and his situation with the medication and everything else changes, and Caesar's just trying to do the right thing for Charles, because the guy, he was trying to protect Charles at that point.
Yeah, and the neighbor, being a jerk, never ends well.
Oh yeah,
because he could have easily, done this and made a resolution with Will about fixing the vehicle, because his dad tried to take the car, and drive away.
Yeah,
well, and that's where it came in, where the guy, the neighbor incites this altercation, because Charles in his is in his state, because this is after the drug fails.
Yeah, it's been slowly failing for him. He's with all the dosages, because it's the first version of the drug that we get. And I loved how Charles came to that understanding, because when Will comes to him in the middle of the night to give him the newer version, he just
He
says
says
no,
no.
and
No.
then he passes that night, and unfortunately, but I'm glad that he went out on that way rather than what happened to everybody else, like with Franklin, who winds up getting exposed and having like a super cold, and then spreads it. Well, the neighbor really did deserve it at that point.
Yeah. So my first is the opening of the film in the way they were hunting, like trying to capture the chimpanzees.
Yes,
it's a callback to the original with the apes beating the like in the corn, beating the sticks in the cornfield.
Correct.
To drive all the humans.
Yep.
It's kind of like this reversal. I really, it's a nice little. That's a callback to that.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool callbacks too, especially with Landon, the son in the cages where he screams out, and I think you have a quote in there.
Yeah, I have both quotes.
Okay. But yeah, the way he treats the apes, kind of like that one that it was a gorilla, I think, at the time that was going after Heston at that time.
Yeah.
But he also puts the hose onto Caesar at one point and uses the words and everything. We get all flashbacks, and these are all pure nods to the original series because that's where it is. And I just love how he gets his just desserts at the end when he brings his friends to the to the ape sanctuary, as I call it.
Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
Well, after that would be I kind of mentioned it, Caesar's escape plan. Stealing the knife from Landon at that point. He literally pickpockets him after he threatens. I think he threatened the friend, and he got the knife out of him, and he was able to pick the lock. Goes to the gorilla in a separate section, but gets the other chimp that challenged him in the very beginning, where they try to beat up Caesar. They're ripping his shirt off and everything of anything, and bring him down, making him feel low, like he's the lowest man on the totem. And at this point, him being smartest, he literally opens up the cage for the chimp to meet the gorilla. Now he's got muscle, just like anything else that you get from the apes, because gorillas in the original series were what? Muscle. And
the soldiers.
Yep, they were grunt soldiers. And then of course you got, and I love the interactions with Maurice and Caesar, which always made me think too whenever I watch this film. Maurice was probably a circus chimp that knew certain things, but is able to communicate, has a bit smart. So orangutans generally are very smart. And I like how they presented that, but I from my understanding, and I can't really remember too much if he used sign language, but a majority of the apes that were in there, or even the chimps, were circus animals at one point, and they were abandoned or left, or they were taken away to be put into the sanctuary. So I like that effect in the sense that some of the chimps had some sort of ability to communicate already and knew, but there was a sense of purpose of animal instinct and collectiveness within that little sanctuary.
Yeah, and all accelerated, and enhanced with the drug.
Yes, yeah. By the end, they were definitely enhanced, and then they were able to all think and be motivated to follow Caesar's revolution, as we know from another particular Planet of the Apes movie.
Yes. Yeah. All right. On my next one, I have this is a quick one about Caesar's first trip to the Muir Woods, about seeing the awe and wonder after he climbs the tree and just sees over the top and over the canopy of the forest.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I've been to Muir Woods. Exactly on the opposite side of the bay from San Francisco. You just drive across the Golden Gate, and you have to go this windy ass mountain road. You get to the parking lot, and then you walk out, and it's just it's some of the most beautiful forests you can see, because it's old growth and it's beautiful.
Yeah, my sister and I when we were traveling cross country, we stopped in San Francisco, and we hung out there for a day and a half to 2 days. So I was able to go across the bridge, and then they took us to the edge of it as they passed by. and we got to see some of that. I did it. Yeah, it is very, very beautiful. I just love how you see it from Caesar's viewpoint of like San Francisco above that tree, looking at the city, looking at the Golden Gate, and obviously the mist in the air, obviously because we're above it and everything, the clouds.
Exactly. All right. So your next one.
Well, it would have to do with how everything spread after Franklin basically coughed in whatever on top of Mr. Hunsaker.
Yeah,
what a jerk. And was he was the pilot, was he not?
Yes. Yeah, the neighbor was the pilot. So yeah, because and I'll tie into that one with, and I have the infection scene with the 113 drug, and I was like, dude, get your proper protection on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, how many things have been spoiled by lab procedure?
Oh yeah. We've seen it in every movie. Think about Outbreak. Another one with monkeys.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and there's always, and I remember the people in the movie, it's like made that incorrect distinction between monkeys and apes, and it's like the way I've always learned it is with tail monkey, without tail ape.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. What about baboons? They got tails, don't they?
I would consider them like the super monkeys almost.
They are very,
they're terrifying.
They are terrifying, especially their butts.
Yeah. You ever watch The Omen? They're terrifying.
They are. Yeah. There is a slight comparison. If you think about this particular movie, I think I go 5 monkeys. If you remember that, because that had a disease and everything else that went through.
12 monkeys?
12 monkeys, and I thought 5. Sorry.
Like 5 monkeys. And I was like, what?
Well,
that was the prequel.
Maybe that was the 5-star rating of 12 monkeys. I don't know. But it had its own little similarities to that and how a disease kind of spread. No, omit the time traveling and Bruce Willis and everything else. But yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, it was just the whole the credit sequence, and we'll touch on that in a minute here.
Yeah.
My next one has to be the battle on the bridge.
Oh yeah, we mentioned it.
Just because of the one thing that I know that there were all the police had quickly, they seem to have quickly mobilized. I don't know why that was. They did that pretty damn fast.
They did,
because in reality that bridge is altogether kind of short, because it's 2 miles, like I think it's like 2.5 miles long. It's not very big, and the towers are big, but it's just to get across it doesn't take a whole lot of time.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I forgave the wonky wobbliness of the timing of it, but I did like that the police on the opposite end had made their firing line. And all the apes all the apes were like doing their movements underneath the bridge in the superstructure, and then they just do this one move and flank them, just like come up off the sides. And the other one was the Caesar riding in on the horse, kind of like reflecting back to the original movie with the apes on the horse.
Yeah, like obviously another callback to the original. It's pretty cool.
All right.
I
have one.
I know. To add to that, that's one of my favorite scenes because it has that visualization of the whole battle scene. It is very visualizing, and the action within it always stands out for me. And that was something that they really prided on within their trailer for this particular film. I remember when the trailer came out, and it was one of the reasons why I wanted to see it. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And no, we don't have Tim Burton remaking monkey masks and having some odd actors in makeup like that doing this upside down. And we're not going to talk about that one, are we? Okay.
And I just have to touch on why we're not reviewing the Tim Burton one. It's like, I don't like it.
A lot of people don't, and I understand it.
So just in case that question came up in any listeners' heads, like, no, I'm good. So, but I have one more. So I don't. If you have a last one or any more.
That was it. Yeah, other than the final ending scene that we do see, which you're going to go into.
Yeah, and mine is the end credit sequence because after because earlier in the movie, Franklin was obviously febrile, and he was like snotty and sneezy and everything, and he sneezed into the face of the pilot and whatever, and that's where he got infected. So at the end of the movie, we see him starting to become febrile when he's on his way out. So the end of the movie culminates, it gets some credits, and then you see the pilot going to his work, gets on the plane and does this, and you see a drop of blood, and then you see him walking through the big lobby.
Yep.
And then it ends off with the flight paths.
Yep.
Like he goes like San Francisco to, I want to say it's Paris. Something like that.
Yeah, it was like it's like a whole thing, something out of Escape from New York with the lines and drawn and
all the flight lines, and these are the disease vectors.
Yep, exactly. It's almost similar, and not to bring up the pandemic, but they were doing that too during the pandemic at one point of like, patient zero or something like that.
Yeah.
And to go back to other films like 12 Monkeys, they did something similar to that to some degree, but not to this extent. And this made it so cool for the fact it was during the end credit scene, and it was going through with the credits coming up at a certain point. And I really did love that scene. It's just a classic image, and it's like, okay, doom has already come. This was the very beginning. So we got the brief history, unlike where the original series, where the apes were literally brought up, and it was just Caesar was an enigma, because he, there was something there in the film that I did like, and we didn't bring it up. When young Landon was showing, and she goes, "Oh, look at this this monkey over here. Oh, they're so cute. Who is that? Oh, that's Cornelia." Not, and kind of like, okay, not Cornelius, but kind of almost like a play on Zira and Cornelius. And I thought that was pretty cool in the film.
Yeah, and that's something I was going to touch on in our facts here.
Oh, so. Sorry.
That's okay. No, you're okay.
I ruined it, man.
No, don't worry about it. I mean, do we have any, it's like we try and follow some continuity, but
yeah,
it's all good.
We go in and out, and usually I try to treat it, even with when I do panels or kaiju cast, whatever happens, and we bring it up whenever convenient, and then we'll have that dedicated segment for things that we didn't top on. So we'll just bring it up again, or you could go more in depth with it by that point. So
but the one thing I do like, and I'll just touch on this, is that I was following the path of the pilots, like the path of the disease vector, and I did like the fact that they were actually showing like flight, like when I've seen flight paths before, is that like he goes like Tokyo, and then like somewhere in the Middle East, and then he goes to like was it like India, then China, and then Japan, and then back to San Francisco. It wasn't across the ocean; it was across the top of the rim, on the rim of the ocean, following the coastline. And part of the reason to do that, it's a shorter route because the world is round.
What? Man?
Yeah, the world is round.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a flat earther.
Plus, there's this whole principle of you don't want to be too far from an airport, and that's why they fly that route, because it's hard to build an airport out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, that is true.
Just strictly for like emergency, plus it's shorter. So.
Yeah, and you have to factor in any debris coming from space, because we leave a lot of junk up there, and it might fall down.
Well, chances of that are so slight, but still, it's not non-zero anymore. So.
Yeah, I know. Though,
all right,
we are a messy culture and species.
There's there's I'm not going to get into that because there's this whole thing. There's a whole concept on that. I'm not. We can touch on it another time.
Exactly right.
Okay, so with that, let's move on to interesting and unknown facts about the movie. So I will give you the first point.
All right, cool. So it's one of the first movies to use motion capture in an on-location setting. Previously, motion capture was limited to the special studio setup with motion capture cameras in very clearly defined surroundings, whether it be green screen, things of like that. But this was like on set. They had the little bubble marks at that time. This is what they used. They use something a little different nowadays. But with this, especially with Marvel and everything else, they're able to do it on location, have just somebody with a big signage on their head to make them taller than they're supposed to. And it's just them walking around, but sometimes they'll have a camera in front of their face because they want to get their facial expressions. So
they did this for like Avatar, and they have an insane amount of motion capture points on their face.
Yes, because of the emotion and an emoting that they needed to do. And think about the amount of computerized work that has to go in there. A lot of stuff right now is utilizing AI, but in the very beginning, it was just programs that they had they had to individually go to for the movements and everything and have it work out perfectly in sync with their voice. And then that's where ADR comes in, everybody. That's the syncing of audio with the visual. So that way you don't look like, I'm in Kaiju Cast, so we talk about it all the time. It doesn't look like a Godzilla film from the 60s.
Yeah, the dubbing miss.
Yeah.
And with that, knowing that how a surface is built, because I use the kind of a similar concept when I do my work for civil engineering.
Yeah.
Is that, the whole principle of more points equals more resolution.
Correct.
But also equals more data plus the more need for higher computing power.
Yes. Think about the supercomputing power that they used to have to do for Terminator 2. And that's where it all started, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
Young Sherlock Holmes. I'm sorry. ILM did it first.
Well, I was going to say the Abyss did a really good one with the water tentacle.
Yes. That came after T2 at that point. But Young Sherlock Holmes was the first one to utilize any CG in a film purposely. And if you remember, that came out in mid 80s.
Yeah.
But with the glass soldier from the church, I believe, from the stained glass.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got that one. The names from the original was my next point. It's like we have Bright Eyes, who was the chimp at the beginning who gave birth to Caesar.
Correct.
Who was initially given the drug and her eyes turned green, like a bright green, I think it was. That's why I call it Bright Eyes. The name of the boss, Stephen Jacobs, a nod to Arthur Jacobs, who was the original producer.
Yep.
Dodge Landon, who was the other two astronauts along with Taylor.
Dodge and Landon. Yep.
The orangutan Maurice, a nod to Maurice Evans, who played Dr. Zaius.
Yep.
And Cornelia, who is a nod to Cornelius.
Yep. Yeah, a combination of the two names, which is pretty cool. And I love that. That it's like it's showing respect for the original series for it was. They didn't have any Hestons or Rodneys or anything like that. But
they had Charles, but that's Charlton. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a stretch. But
it is a stretch.
All right, I'll give you the next one.
Next up, just before Caesar gets carted off to the shelter, he is seen playing with a model of the Statue of Liberty, a nod to the original, where we see at the very end, you've gone and done it.
Next one for me is all of the apes are 100% computer generated. And you mentioned this before. It's like including the apes in the opening scene during the capture of Bright Eyes.
Which was done extremely well in comparison to the rest of the CG throughout the film. There's certain points within the film you go like, oh, okay, it is CG, blah, blah, blah. But that one seemed a little bit more realistic to me. And then how they were trying to trap those apes.
Yep. And go ahead with the next one.
The Charlton Heston cameo. Yeah, the agony and the ecstasy was playing in the back where the shelter worker is watching the movie.
Yep.
So
I saw, and I had forgotten about that because when I rewatched this movie a few days ago, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah!"
I was looking for it as I was doing a rewatch. As you'll laugh, listeners, as Lara and Sam were recording because we're doing 2 podcasts today at the same time as recording today. So I was editing and I was rewatching Rise, and I was like, "Where is that? Where is that scene?" Because I knew it, where I just didn't remember where it was exactly. And I finally got to see it.
Yeah, I have a couple more here. So we have in the background of the movie is that there was a manned flight to Mars happening.
Yes,
and they said he had some like glimpsing and a new coverage rating for launch on this first manned mission, and later in the movie there's like this people doing the like as the apes escaped. That was the following morning, and you see the newspapers going out, and you see "Lost in Space" as a headline.
Yep. Well, it's a nod to the original from when the shuttle kind of disappears into time. Because that's literally what they were doing in the original. They were on a specific mission, deep space mission. Lost in Space, which is a nice term for it too, but more like Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, but but they got yoinked away from.
No, that is true. They got stolen.
Yeah, but I did like the fact that they called the ship the Icarus.
Yes. Well, what happened to Icarus, though.
Yeah, you don't want to associate anything new
with burning
with Icarus. It's like
he flew too close to the sun, and his wax wings melted.
I mean, guys, it's like just read your dang mythology for God's sakes.
It's like I don't know. Well, there is the Titanic. If they named that Poseidon, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. All right. I missed one.
Go ahead.
Last one is that while in the shelter, Caesar is sprayed by Malfoy with the fire hose in a similar manner when Taylor was being sprayed in the original film.
Yeah.
And you had briefly touched on that, but
I didn't go into it.
Yeah. But I saw it, I go, oh, that's right. Okay. Just thinking back, and you just, and I think it's better that if you've seen it, and because at the time that when the movie came out and when I watched it back in 2011, I had seen the original at least 30 times.
Same here. Yeah. And you caught all those little things as they were played out. Yeah. Yeah. We're all like, hey, oh, they did that. Oh, cool.
All right. So we can move on to quotes.
Sure. You take us into it.
Okay. First one, we have Dodge screaming, "It's a madhouse! A madhouse!" when he's, and in his part. So,
yeah.
Which is a nice callback.
Yep, it is. And it's so far in the distance, though. That's the only difference. It's not like in your face like Heston was, but it's in the back as he sees all the apes or the chimps going crazy in their cages, and he's making all the noise.
Yep.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay,
I only have a few on my end, so.
Okay, well, I'd given you one up above. So.
Oh, okay, I'll do that one. That would be Dodge, Landon, the kid, and it says, "Take your stinking paw off me, you damn dirty ape," and Caesar saying no. But of course, that's a callback to the original with Heston saying that when he first gets imprisoned in the netting in the ape square.
Yeah. Next one is Jacob's talking to Will, saying, "I swear, you know everything about the human brain except the way it works." Because the brain is a huge mystery still.
Yeah, and we don't use that much of it.
I think we do, maybe, but well, maybe colloquially, but it's like a lot of it's probably just medium. It's a medium for all the electricity to go through.
Well, so. we'll have a neurologist come back to us and let us know.
Okay, go ahead with your next one.
For one that I have, this would be from Caroline. It would be right to Will and saying some things are meant to be changed. You need to accept that. And that's said to Will after he shares a picture of himself and young Caesar to her while cleaning up Charles's room after he passed away.
Yeah. And I have my last one. It was at the very end of the movie when, Will catches up with all the apes in the forest. It says, "Caesar, I'm sorry. This is my fault. This has to stop. This isn't the way. You know what they're capable of. Please come home. If you come home, I'll protect you." And Caesar hugs him and says, "Caesar is home." And Will's like, "Holy crap, I didn't expect."
Yeah, it was so chilling. It's almost like with Kobo when he writes out Jacobs on the wall too, which and he has that like sinister grin on his face as he looks at him.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, but yeah, that's it for me.
Last one I would have would be from Caroline and saying, "You're trying to control things that were never meant to be controlled," but which is pretty odd too because control is still an illusion to everybody in this world who's human.
Yeah. God, it's crazy.
Yep.
All right. So overall, what would you give us as a rating?
Rating for an Apes movie, I always give this a hard 9. I can't really say overall amongst all movies, but it's right up there with a lot of movies that I love that I would go back to watch. But for an Apes movie overall, definitely a solid 9 because I think we both put the first Apes movie as a number 10 way back when.
Yeah, using that barometer, this one is also a 9 for me.
Yeah,
because it is just I didn't find a whole lot wrong with it.
No, it was done, written well, executed properly. The cast was done very well and acted well, I thought. A lot of people will probably nitpick over it. Oh, is this not my Planet of the Apes? Because they're true apists and they love, the original cereal. So you get the cereal apists out there. No pun intended. Jerry's just shaking his head. God, Mark, you're trying to give a pun and it's coming out wrong.
Yes.
But yeah, there are those people that are true passionate about the original that are collectors and everything else, and will be like they'll naysay the newer ones. Now, mind you, after the first 3 of this particular series, a lot of people fell off the movies at that point. Go back to them. They're available now, all of them that's left. The last one looked interesting to me, too, because it was more of a human that speaks, and it was far into the future. So I highly recommend that. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it came out maybe 2024. And I brought it up to Jerry. I said, "Did you not realize that there is a newer one out?" And you were like, "I didn't realize that."
Yeah.
I didn't either until I saw it. I was like, "Oh, it's available. Okay. Eventually I'll watch it."
Yeah, because we have, Rise, Dawn, and I think, what was the other one? Dang it. I wrote it. War. And then there's King. This is War Dawn Kingdom, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then whatever came out. Let me see that. I'm going to look up the actual sequels because I'm thinking there's far more than what I thought. So 2027 sequel. What is going on here? We got Rise, Dawn, War, Kingdom, and then there's an untitled one expected out in 2027. Everybody,
which means they're probably doing pre-production now.
Yeah. So, Kingdom was the one that came out 2 years ago. And that's the one I highly recommend. That was an interesting one, I'm told. I was told to go back to it by a friend of mine. And they're like, hey, you should really check it out. It's actually pretty good. Because I remember with War, I wasn't really keen on at that time in 2017. But Dawn was pretty cool. I liked it because it had more human integration. It had its own little factions. War became like almost like the last one that we had done from the original Planet of the Apes series. Remember how we didn't like the war scenes and everything? So maybe that's why I had it in my head for Battle. I was like, I'm thinking, this is going to just be as bad as Battle. But I didn't give it its due diligence of watching it completely. But I'm going to give Kingdom a look too. I might go back to War and check that out again.
Yeah, I'm going to, as we do these, I'm going to have to rewatch them anyway. So.
Yeah. But well, there it is. That's a little coverage of Rise of the Planet of the Apes from 2011. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm glad to come back to this one. So.
Yeah, it's cool. And we'll come out with a little bit more stuff out there. Jerry's got more stuff he'd like to do. Like we're going to probably go back to our Harryhausen stuff every once in a while too.
Yeah, Harryhausen's always a good fallback.
Exactly. So we're at that point within the podcast of where can listeners hear you?
Well, aside from other episodes of Adrenaline, which there are many,
there are.
I am currently on the Buffalo podcast with Daphne, Paik, and Jeff, and we do that on the weekly.
Yep.
And that's a pun fest, game fest. We sit around, do some BSing, play a game, make Daphne crazy with puns. I pass out laughing sometimes, or just get real close to it because when something hits me out of the blue or unexpected, I feel a little bit faint at times. And it's just the way my brain works, and and it's been a lifelong issue with that because I think I'm like just gasping in it, and it just like my brain wants to reset.
Exactly. Well, you're just so into the moment. You're just so happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Well, as always, you can hear me here on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. You can also hear me on the Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast when we put out anything musical based. Panels to Pixels Podcast. Steve and I just started going back, and we started covering the second season of Daredevil Born Again. We're going to do The Boys when it comes out. Probably top on Spider-Man Noir when it comes out on Prime Video. All the other stuff. We kind of just did episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again, season 2. You could also hear me on Kaiju Cast Podcast, and that's collaborative with Podcastica. So feeds are on both, and we went back to doing Monarch season 2. And that's how we started this new podcast. But after we finish Monarch season 2, we're literally going to be continuing on with our large kaiju movies. So Dimitri and myself took on the reins that me and Ben Beck had done when we were on Wilhelm, and that was a collaborative with Podcastica as well. Ben's been a bit busy, so he couldn't come on. But he's always allowed to come on whenever he wants, and just to have fun and talk about Monarch. We're about halfway there as far as like the episodes. So hopefully him or Rob Moda could come out and play and talk. So you could hear me there. Everything that you could hear, obviously you could find on piratecoreentertainment.com. You could catch all the other podcasts like I just mentioned, as well as Dinner for Her with Mandy and her guests about women in history, and as they discuss at dinner that they do, as well as Mandy and Becky when they do on What's On Tonight in their coverage of The Pit, which they're currently doing now for season 2.
The Pit is so stinking good.
Yes, it's so great. I just
oh my gosh.
started a rewatch of ER, and that's where Noah Wiley, and I saw a lot of comparisons of you got Carter's version of what he went through, and then now Langdon's issues with what he had to do.
Langdon?
In The Pit. Dr. Langdon in The Pit.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I was thinking you're talking about Noah Wiley's character, Dr. Robbie.
Oh no.
Dr. Langdon, Dr. Langdon in that show too.
Yeah.
So, he's going through some stuff.
Well, he's going through the same stuff Noah Wiley did portraying Dr. Carter in ER too.
That's right. Yes,
it's pretty cool.
It's been a minute since I've seen ER.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's on HBO Max. Everybody, you could go watch ER as well as The Pit, and then give them a listen too, and check them out. For anybody who wants to submit feedback, unfortunately, this was like so far in advance, and we didn't really put out promotion. But obviously, it's here for your listening pleasure. And if you want to send any feedback regarding this or any other episode that we've done before, or if you have any recommendations of what you would like to hear us cover, or if you'd like to be on, who knows, all you have to do is submit your theories and feedback to our Facebook group, which would be facebook.com/AdrenalineCinemaPodcast. You could also email us. That's the easiest way to do. And you could send that to AdrenalineCinemaPodcast@gmail.com. Just write out your thoughts, or if you feel the need, you can record yourself and send it to me, and I will play it. So we could be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the good stuff, Amazon Music. So ratings or reviews are always there. We highly recommend that you give us a review. Be nicely appreciated.
Yeah. Any feedback is appreciated.
That's exactly it. What's next here? Right now, it's up in the air, but we'll find out as we come, and we will notify you through Facebook or even on Instagram at Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. So, with that is our show, and I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jerry.
And we'll see you and talk to you the next time we change the reel. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.